and welcome to All Faiths Unitarian Congregation. I'm Carol Elrod, and I will be the service leader today. We at All Faiths want you to know that whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, and whomever you love, you are always welcome here. Our Association of Congregations was formed in the 1700s in the United States, or it wasn't the United States then, in America. It's been part of the religious landscape for a long time, and included early members like Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, Paul Revere, and Florence Nightingale. Here's a little bit about me. I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana in 1934 and lived there more or less until we moved to Fort Myers full-time in 2009. I earned a bachelor's degree in journalism from Indiana University in 1956 and a master's also in journalism from Ball State University in 1978. I went back to school after teaching remedial English for about a year at Purdue University, Indianapolis. And I thought I was doing it without portfolio and that I'd better go back to school. After 4 years doing that, I was a reporter and feature writer at the Indianapolis Star for 14 years. Ed and my husband and I met in the 50s working on our high school yearbook. We've been married 65 years and have 2 children who are now approaching retirement age themselves. I can hardly believe it. Okay, we have a couple of announcements today. August is our 5th Sunday animal shelter collection. You may drop shelter supplies off at All Faiths front door Monday through Friday next week. Consult your email to see what kind of supplies the shelter is in need of, and Sharon Gray will see that they get delivered. The Racial Justice Meeting will be this Wednesday, August 26th at 10 via Zoom. It was rescheduled from August 19th. Look for the Zoom link in your emails. Now let us sing together hymn number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
I will now light the chalice, and then we will read in unison the words in your order of service. We light this chalice to affirm our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We are all here to grow in wisdom and to learn how to love better. As we each do this in our own ways, we slowly become a blessing to those around us and a light to the world. Now please join in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. think at this point in the service, we have the opportunity to share with the congregation our joys and sorrows. There were none received by the office this week, but there are probably people who are holding them in their hearts. So we send good wishes and healing thoughts. Now it's time for a moment of meditation. I'd like everyone to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let us turn our minds and hearts to the service. The opening words today are these. We come together in faith and hope to find what meaning life holds for us, to laugh and sing with one another, to soothe the wounds of daily life, and to grow together in wisdom and love.
Someone told me long ago, there's a calm before the storm. I know it's been coming for some time. When it's over, so they say, it'll rain a sunny day. I know, shining down like water. And I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? Yesterday and days before, sun is cold and rain is hard. I know, been that way for all my time, till forever on it goes, through the circle, fast and slow. I know, it can't stop. I wonder, and I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? And I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? Coming down on a sunny day.
The reading this morning is by Henry David Thoreau, who built a cabin in the woods in Massachusetts and lived there for 2 years with minimal supplies to see what he could get from life. We must learn to awaken and keep ourselves awake by an infinite experience of the dawn, which does not forsake us in our soundest sleep. For we are encouraged that people can elevate their lives by their own conscious endeavor. It is something to be able to paint a picture or carve a statue, and so to make a few things beautiful. But it is far more glorious to carve and paint the very atmosphere and medium through which we look, which morally we can do. To affect the quality of the day, That is the highest of arts. It is the task of all persons to make their lives, even in details, worthy of the contemplation of their most devoted and critical hours. Why should we live in such a hurry and waste of life? We are determined to be starved before we are hungry. I wish to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life. I wish to learn what life has to teach, and not, when I come to die, discover that I have not lived. I do not wish to live what is not life. Living is so dear. Nor do I wish to practice resignation unless it is quite necessary. I wish to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to put to rout all that is not life. I want to cut a broad swath and shave close, to drive life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms. If it proves to be mean, then to get the whole and genuine meanness of it and publish its meanness to the world. Or, if it is sublime, to know it by experience and to be able to give a true account of it. Let us join together in singing hymn number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath. The words are found at the bottom of your order of service.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love.
When Paige Getty was 24, she became a Unitarian Universalist. Her grandmother asked her why, and Paige replied that she could finally believe anything she wanted to. There would be no dogma. The idea that you can believe anything you want is the typical newcomer's excitement about the Unitarian Church. This leads some people on the outside to believe that Unitarians don't believe in anything. That is definitely not the case. But what to believe in? For many students or teenagers about that age, questions about meaning, the meaning of life, become more important than the study of economics or biology. Earnest and worried students may discuss their worries with friends far into the night, but fail to come up with answers that settle the mind. It is a time of unease and even agony, especially at 2 in the morning when the world is quiet and the brain is agitated, and still no answers. Those in the throes of such a mad search may cover the struggle with ultra busyness, so they don't have to think about what is my purpose in life. As Scarlett O'Hara said in the book Gone with the Wind, I'll think about that tomorrow. Soon it becomes clear that there is not just one answer to the question around meaning. My meaning in life might not be yours, and each may make sense. This makes the question more complicated and more alarming when you have no idea what your path is going to be, or should be. Post-high school, you think, you should know what field of work will turn out to be appropriate for you, or so they say. You could mess up. The disquiet continues. A free search for meaning without responsibility could be narcissistic and destructive, says Reverend Getty. Yes, in time, she not only joined the church, but she entered the seminary. But meaning is more than a choice of career. It also includes relations with people, seen and not seen, with how we treat the environment, with relation to possessions. And the list goes on. And not just in thought, but also in deed. It's more than if you cheat at cards or fail to state honestly your income on your income tax forms. It's also how you treat your aunt who is lonely, or hungry children in Haiti or Zambia. It means sticking up for your values, but also acknowledging the values of others, with honor, but perhaps not acceptance. Paige Getty preached at the funeral of her uncle, who was not a Unitarian. His daughter wrote to her before the service, "I sometimes thought of him as being too set in his ways, living in a black and white world. I used to think this was a fault. As I became older and my decisions in life more complicated, I realized that Dad did see the gray. He just didn't believe in spending much time there. It takes a strong person to live by their convictions, and my dad was one of them. He knew he wasn't perfect and didn't expect perfection in others. Dad didn't preach these things. He lived them and let me watch. What is an appropriate career path for you may change as the world changes, and even as your family circumstances changed. This happened to Paige Getty when she joined the Unitarian Church, and then sometime later got the call, as they say, to become a pastor. We personally have known a couple of people who left their well-paying jobs to become CEOs of nonprofit organizations for way less money. But a change in emphasis can occur at any age. The retiree who, seeing a need, has stitched up hundreds of face masks for first responders, or who, at nearly 100 years of age, worked one day a week delivering mail, flowers, and a ready smile in an Indianapolis hospital. Although she couldn't do anything grand, she could do something. Making meaning possibilities are everywhere. It's a hurting world out there. I'm going to close by talking a little about two men of different ages and times, but well worth learning about. Viktor Frankl, a Viennese psychiatrist who was imprisoned by the Nazis in several death camps, and Mitch Albom, a sports writer for a Detroit newspaper and the author of popular books that have been translated into 40 languages. Both are well worth reading. Frankl, who is best known for his book, Man's Search for Meaning, discovered sometime during his years in concentration camps, including Auschwitz, that nearly his whole family had been murdered, and yet he was able to continue helping to make other prisoners' lives a bit better than they would have been without him. One early morning, just before dawn, he and a group of prisoners were walking toward the ditch they had been forced to dig. Suddenly, Frankl wrote, I sensed my spirit piercing through the enveloping gloom. I felt it transcend that hopeless, meaningless world. And from somewhere I heard a victorious yes in answer to my question of the existence of an ultimate purpose. The meaning of life is not invented by ourselves, but detected. And hear these words from Mitch Albom's book, Tuesdays with Morrie. I believe there was a movie made of that also. So many people walk around with a meaningless life. They seem half asleep, even when they're busy doing things they think are important. This is because they're chasing the wrong things. The way you get meaning into your life is to devote yourself to loving others, devote yourself to creating something that gives you purpose and meaning. Blessed be. It's time now to take up the offering, as they say. If you would like to contribute to All Faiths, to support our services, you can mail checks or visit our website and take care of it that way. The Reverend CJ always has a joke, and I found one too. He says that telling a joke makes people happy, and when they're happy, they're more generous. One morning, the husband and wife were arguing over who should get out of the warm bed to make the coffee. Finally, the wife folded her arms and said decidedly, "You have to make the coffee. It's in the Bible." The husband was shocked. "Is not. Show me." Pulling out her Bible, which was right by the bed, the wife opened it to one of the New Testament books and declared, "It says right here, Hebrews."
Hey now, little speedy head, the reed on the speedometer says you have to go to task in the city, where people drown and people serve. Don't be shy, your just deserve is only just light years to go. Me, my thoughts are flower strewn, ocean storm, bayberry moon. I have got to leave to find my way. Watch the road and memorize this life that passed before my eyes. Nothing is going my way.
come from the song Alfie by Burt Bacharach, lyrics by Hal David. Bacharach thought it was the most important song that they had ever written. What's it all about, Alfie? Is it just for the moment we live? What's it all about when you sort it out, Alfie? Are we meant to take more than we give? Or are we meant to be kind? And if only fools are kind, Alfie, then I guess it is wise to be cruel. And if life belongs only to the strong, Alfie, what will you lend on an old golden rule? As sure as I believe there's a heaven above, Alfie, I know there's something much more, something even non-believers can believe in. I believe in love, Alfie. Yet to believe in love is one thing, to act on love is another. Blessed be.
Between a crucifix and the Hollywood sign, we decided to get her. Now there's a few things we have to burn. Set our hearts ablaze, and every city was a gift, and every skyline was like a kiss upon the lips, and I was making you a wish. And every skyline, how big, how blue, how beautiful, how big, how blue, how beautiful. And meanwhile a man was falling from space, and every day I wore your face like an atmosphere around me, the satellite beside me. And meanwhile a man was falling from space, as he hit the earth I left this place, let the atmosphere surround me, the satellite beside me. Well, what are we gonna do? We've opened the door, now it's all coming through. Till you see it too. We've opened our eyes and it's changing the view. What are we gonna do? We've opened the door and it's all coming through. How big, how blue, how beautiful. How big, how blue, how beautiful. And every city was a gift, and every skyline was like a kiss upon the lips, and I was making you a wish. And every skyline was like a kiss upon the lips, and meanwhile a man was falling from space. And every day I woke your face like an atmosphere around me, happy or beside me. Well, what are we gonna do? We've opened the door and it's all coming through. Till we see it too. We've opened our eyes and it's changing the view. What are we gonna do? We've opened the door, it's all coming through. How big, how blue, how beautiful, how big.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you for all of the wonderful music this morning. To Regina Kilmartin for operating the camera, and Ed Elrod on sound. I will extinguish the chalice, and then we can read the chalice extinguishing words, which are at the bottom of your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world.